Folks, hello, and oh, geez, welcome to Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. I thought I had Glenn Hallstrom as my co-host. Apparently, it's my son, because every time he calls me, he goes, "You don't get hello, you just get that like very loud belch in your ear." Yeah, and it's like, oh, you son of a. And it's like I should always do like hold the phone like away, but kind of forget.
And we're sponsored by Pepsi Cola, made with real sugar
We're not
and
sponsored.
Crown
We're not
and
sponsored by
Crown Royal.
shit. We're not sponsored by shit. Okay.
Yes,
Or
we are not sponsored, but we're sponsored by crap.
No, we have no sponsors. We have no sponsors today or any day. We're still working on getting sponsorship set up to support North Texas RPG Con, but they got to get a special account to do so, and we haven't gotten it yet. So,
I'm sponsored by Crown Royal, the official dice bag of role-playing and the OSR.
So Glenn, if you're sponsored by them, how do they recompense you? How do they pay?
Very poorly. Poorly.
I got news for you folks. He'd like to be sponsored. He ain't sponsored. We ain't sponsored.
I want to be sponsored by that. I could go to cons and just like give out, their bags, and it's like, hey, that's publicity, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Little nips, right? Bag with a little single serve and the.
I'm trying to get a whole bunch. See, I bought those Walmart dice. Remember, they're selling 3 for $8 with the little black bags.
Oh,
I was going to swap out. I was going to, Walmart does it. I mean, I'm talking about the Dollar Tree ones because I never found them. But Walmart sold them like for $8. You can get 3 sets of dice. Plus, each had a little dice bag. So I was going to swap out the black bags for those little tiny Crown Royal bags and give them out at cons.
Not a shabby idea. So, Glenn is drinking Pepsi with real sugar. I am drinking a light beer with real taste. It is the Blue Moon light beer. Was it Light Sky? Something like that. It's actually pretty tasty. It actually has like flavor.
And chewing on my current addiction, which is Snyder's of Hanover's Rounds. These are little round pretzels.
They're like nuggets, but not. They're like okay.
Yeah, I love them. They're just, but I won't do it during the show.
Oh well, and we appreciate it. So look at that. We got about 11 people watching the live stream. That's not bad for the first 5 minutes.
Now you were just talking about your angiogram.
Yeah, no, I had last Friday. For those that were watching the Random Generator Party, I think we went live as I was like walking into the house because I had to do it from my cell phone. We couldn't. I thought I could get Joe to make the show go live.
Hello, Scott.
But I wasn't able to do so, and I got in trouble with my family because I had to do the live stream, and I wasn't like
hi Doc,
family bonding after the angiogram and the 70% blockage in your left main artery, but we fixed it type of thing. So I had to escape from the live stream for a few minutes, pay the well-earned price from my family and not get yelled at by my future daughter-in-law because she yelled at me.
Uh-oh.
What the hell are you doing the live stream? You're supposed to be I was like, I've got responsibilities. And
well, if we hear some noise on my end, that's because Becky got a piano today.
Okay. Wait.
And
a real piano?
Yeah, a real upright piano.
Holy.
And my grandson Gage has been trying to hammer out a tune for the last couple hours. And it's like, don't get me near a piano because I'll start playing it. And I don't know how to play piano. So
I played I guess the electric organ for about 6 weeks as a kid. And then it was like, oh, now you have to, like, now you can't just rent. Now that you've gone for 6 weeks, now you got to buy. And I told my parents,
Yeah.
I don't like this enough. I can play Twinkle Twinkle Little
Mhm.
Star, and that's about it. You know?
I can play as time goes by badly, but I can
Well,
play it. That's about it.
yeah.
I'm musically, I can sing and play the radio
Okay.
and a harmonic and harmonicas. And I've got a ukulele over there. I've still got to start working on because I want to learn how to play the ukulele. So
David, yes, I actually saw the video. It was nice of Professor Dungeon Master to give me a shout out on his
he
pilot.
did.
Yes, he did.
Nice.
It
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it was nice to see, and the whole we'll discuss this in a bit. The whole Paizo putting out 5e material, but we still got to get to all the comments and catch you up on the going ons with Glenn and I.
There ain't much to go on. There ain't much to update. So,
well,
I still have full on gamers sending me anime Blu-rays.
Well, then you got a lot of viewing that you got to do.
This is the one of the latest one I got. The first 2 seasons of Dr. Stone. I like this one because it's a steelbook. I like steelbooks.
Okay.
And it's going on like $3,000 worth of Blu-rays he sent me now.
Oh.
So yeah, I've been keeping tabs on this. I get them and I go on Amazon and find out what they're selling for, and I've got a whole spreadsheet saying full on.
He'll split the profits with you later.
Yeah, this is Daco's Hammer Follies, and I tell this for you, the people.
Star Frontiers Gamer, any comments on the Grits post on the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, which was then shared by Lanasa to his personal page? Well, I don't see his personal page. I did see the Grits one.
Grits post?
Yeah, who likes grits or some stupid.
Okay.
Asinine shit like that. Personally, just like the fact that everybody apparently at TSRCon wore a name badge that said Justin Lanasa on it. You didn't get your name on it. Everybody was Justin Lanasa. And there's 2 arguments that are for this. One, I've heard that Justin said it was done as a joke to anger the haters. But the other reasoning I heard was this was an event where folks knew Justin would be at. Thereby, if everyone was Justin Lanasa, you can't serve him with papers if that was going to be the attempt. Yeah,
if anybody has one of those badges they can spare, I would like one so I can change the name on it. I'm going to leave his name on there crossed up, but I'm going to write like John Yaya or John Big Booty
or Justin Lasagna. It's Lasagna.
John Lanasa. Yeah.
Listen, those badges were hello, my name is stickers. They weren't like con badges like you and I are used to. But yeah, it is what it is.
We did a tiny con called MetsCon up in the Silicon Valley for a couple of years with my friend Paul Metz, and we call it MetsCon. And I made badges for MetsCon, and they were all like Yo-Yo Dine employees. John Smallberries, John Big Booty, John Parker, that kind of thing.
All right. The Connor Johns.
How many of were part of the 800 people at TSRCon? And how many did they have to keep moving people around and doubling them up in the pictures so it looked like 800?
Well, the pictures didn't look like 800. All right, so here's the way to look at it.
More than I thought.
Besides the fact that I was there for free in the heads of everybody at TSR without paying rent, so maybe they counted that. But remember, if you got a con badge, it was only good for a day, and only like less than 20 people signed up for con badges. And I'm not going to get into the argument with Ernie's friend Leo, who kept on going, nobody I know uses tabletop events to register for a con. Well, then obviously you don't go to anything that resembles a major con. So you say
That's
this was
right.
not a major con that didn't obviously have 800 people, but every day was a separate registration. So if you went for 4 days, guess what? You were 4 people. Okay, so already that's a padding of the numbers. I would hazard a guess. Now, this is in addition to the fact that
Hi,
uh,
Mark.
I believe that they failed their fire inspection on Wednesday or Thursday, which is
Really?
yes, which is apparently why there was a closed sign on the door, but then people like brought in like it was a speakeasy. So I mean it's uh
It was.
yeah.
It's the clandestine con.
So I'd be very interested in hearing if there's any
The secret
fallout
policeman's
from that.
con.
But yeah, you know what? There is creative counting and there is trolling. And I've also heard the argument that Lanasa knows he probably didn't even break 100, but he can say whatever number he wants because he's Justin. He will troll. And oh, we had. I'm going to lowball. Instead, we had 800 people, and 60% had no idea that Gary Con was even going on. Yeah, listen, I can guarantee you that 95% of Gary Con goers had no intention of showing up at the Dungeon Hobby Shop.
That's right.
And the people that did go, they weren't going for the con; they were going for the
It,
museum itself.
yeah. I'd be lucky to get into Gary Con myself. So I'm going to TSR Con or even go to the museum would be out of the question.
Lanasa Crafter Talk. Well, we actually had a winner and 2 runner-ups that got cash prize. Well, drive-through RPG gift certificate prizes because the entries were amazing. The one that won, the person wishes to remain anonymous. I understand why, but they actually did it like a 2E monster entry page.
Mm-hmm.
You could
Mm-hmm.
actually cut that out and punch holes in it and put into your monstrous compendium. The old binder that came out, and I think it would have fit perfectly. It would have
I'm
been.
still I'm saving up some money right now to get something on drive through, and I think it's POD Broken Compass. Mr. Mark Hunt here convinced me to take a look at it.
Uh-oh. What
And I
is
liked what
Broken
I saw.
Compass? Actually, now you're making me curious.
It's kind of an action adventure thing of he recommended, I think it was him, he recommended that you could probably run Johnny Quest in Broken Compass. And immediately I thought, this sounds interesting. So I went over to drive through and it does look interesting, but I need to, save my pennies so I can get a POD or at least, I could probably get the PDF for $5, but yep, he's right.
Okay,
I
interesting.
just thought I'd push it a little, Mark. That's all.
Okay, so Broken Compass, the Adventure Journal, is no POD at drive-through for this. It's $24 for the watermarked PDF.
There's no but I saw pictures. Mark showed
They
pictures of like
they might have their
print
own. They might have their
copy.
own
Looked
website.
gorgeous.
They might be selling that direct.
Okay,
We'd have
possibly.
we'd have to investigate that a little bit. So, folks, just
Possibly.
about at the next hour. So for Eastern time, that'll be right around 9:00. We are going to pull 2 names from people who are chatting using the
names.
StreamYard giveaway tool, and each person that
We got a giveaway. We got a tool.
we got a giveaway tool here. I'll peekify it. Hold on.
Oh, Mark's saying Broken Compass is a Kickstarter right now. So
okay.
I'm probably gonna wait till it gets actually out in print or PDF.
So at the hour, we'll use it.
I'm full up on Kickstarters this year.
He's reached his quota.
Texas. Yeah. At least I know I wanted to do Tome of Adventure Design. I ain't going to be able to do it.
Right.
There was another one out there. I think that was it. But anyway, I got Hyperborean. That's about it. So now, what are we going to give away?
Well, we're going to give away 2 $25 drive-through RPG gift certificates at the height of the hour to people in our chat. And this wonderful tool pulls it right from the people that are chatting away. So I don't have to like take names and roll dice and roll 20 or some shit like that. Boom, and it'll splash the name on the screen. I was very, very surprised.
It gets kind of dirty. It gets kind of messy, but
well, it's not as messy as me having to roll dice myself and write down names and hopefully not miss somebody.
Okay.
It's a good solution. So,
and I wish you were in. And I wish you were in it, as Groucho would say.
Not that kind of solution.
Thank you, Mark. By the way, he sent me something on Facebook. PDF of. I hear there's quick start rules for Broken Compass, so might want to look at that.
Savage World sounds good for Johnny Quest.
Oh yeah. I always thought that you could do a Johnny Quest real easy. I'm still working on my DuckTales, Savage DuckTales.
Mark Huntley did the Kickstarter last year.
Oh, then it's already okay.
Well, then it might. Then again, they might be
probably are
themselves elsewhere
through their Lulu or their own website or something.
Yes, Hyperborea is awesome. I'm looking forward to my hardcover landing.
So am I. I've got the deluxe. I got the deluxe. You got the deluxe and the regular one, didn't you? You got like two sets.
I know. I think I only got one. There's only so. I only got so much room at this point. I mean,
tell me about it. I mean, my game acquisition has come to zero because I've got tons of games. In fact, I'm still looking for a place to put all the Arduino stuff without throwing it out in the garage.
Oh, gee. David, I do not know if there are any Lulu discount codes around at the moment. Usually, you can...
David, this is the way it works with Lulu. You find something you want to order, put it in your cart, then go away for about 15 minutes. They will send you a discount code, 30 minutes. Or even just like the next day or something. Just wait it out. They will give you at least 15%, enough at least to cover the shipping.
I never heard of the Hollis Breach Kickstarter. Interesting. Free stuff is the best stuff. You guys are the best, unless I don't win, in which case we suck. Well, you understand that, Derek.
We probably do.
It depends on, we can't always be the best. We can just be good enough sometimes.
It's good enough for me.
So, Star Frontiers Gamer loves the idea of Savage DuckTales.
Oh, yeah. So does Doc. As long as 2017 DuckTales, the reboot.
Oh, okay.
That was a hell of a series.
So not the original DuckTales?
I never watched it. I really didn't do anything for me. But the reboot was fantastic. But yeah, then you could do Savage DuckTales. That'd be easy.
So now, Savage.
I was going to adapt the Isle of Dread to DuckTales.
Now that would be interesting. Now, would you play it straight, or would you?
Well, since it's a sandbox, you can take any of the suggested ideas in there. I hitched on the Black Pearl thing, and I made it a magic item that once every full moon, it becomes a portal to whatever place you want it to be in the world. And the premise was somebody was stealing out of Scrooge's money bin, but they don't know how they did it. But because somebody's using that pearl to reach into his money bin and take money.
Okay.
And I'll give you one guess who it is.
I don't know it well enough to guess.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, Flintheart was doing it because he got.
Yeah, I'd be like,
because he's in the island, and I was going to put the pirates in there too, and all this other stuff, and I have yet to finish it.
John Miller, I feel your pain. I back the infamous Memorial Tomb. All right, so folks, if you've been following along at home, I'm sure Troll Lord Games basically came in. They did the White Knight savior of the Memorial Tomb. Now, a little background on that. The reason why they were able to come in and save it is because the monies were not spent on hookers and blow. They weren't. The monies weren't spent on medical expenses. It wasn't spent to bury one's pets. It wasn't spent on all these things. It wasn't spent on setting up an office environment for a company that hadn't produced anything yet. It was put into a business account by Ernie and Benoit. And it was basically not touched except for expenses related to the Kickstarter. So the reason why the Kickstarter was not moving is because effectively Ernie said, all right, I've reached my endpoint. I'm not doing anything else. It was all put into Benoit's hands. And Benoit now had to finish the creative aspect and also find a way to distribute it and edit it and lay it out. All that landed on him. And that wasn't going to go well. And it wasn't going well. And that's why we had times when Benoit was silent on social media. And I don't blame him. It was not a good situation. Now, did the two of them put themselves in that situation? For sure.
Definitely.
So, I remember being at conventions talking with certain publishers. I'm not going to name them, but it was more than one. And I was hearing numbers that were what the estimate would be to make the Memorial Tomb whole. And I think in 2019, the guesstimate was you'd need somewhere between $35,000 and $50,000 to bring that out, to lay it out, to print it, to finish the writing, the art, and all that stuff. And nobody really knew if there would be profits available for whoever white knighted it. Now, Troll Lord, when they reached out, Ernie apparently told them, hey, we have the monies. So Troll Lord, sure, they had put the effort into the layout, which allowed Benoit then to become creative again and just focus on the creative aspects. And layout, project management, and all that other stuff was being done by Troll Lord because there was money to do so. If the money was gone, that never would have happened. So there's a lesson to be, there's more than one lesson to be learned here. One, if you're going to do a major Kickstarter, not a couple thousand, but for tens of thousands of dollars, form an LLC, get a separate bank account, don't mingle your fucking funds, because that's a huge part of what saved this project from being one that really would have been for the trash bins. That's why we're but number two is realize your own limitations. Ernie and Benoit went into this with neither of them understanding what the end game was going to be. They were both psyched about the creativity aspect, but let's be honest, this work in the end comes down to the grit, right? It's the unpaved road in front of you that you've got to take care of, and so many people, when that happens, that's the challenge that they're not ready for. And I think that's what happened in this case. So again, huge props to Troll Lord Games for saving this project, and certainly props to Benoit and Ernie for making an early decision to separate those monies and allow those monies to be there when they could find somebody who could actually bring this to fruition.
Right.
And now I got to count. Oh my God, such verbosity. Very talkative people in the chat today.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I got a way to get to raise the visibility of North Texas RPG Con. Next con at the midnight auction, I'm going to get up and slap Mike.
Oh my God.
Hey, it worked for Will Smith.
Well, Will Smith resigned from the Academy. today.
Yeah.
Which means absolutely nothing because he has enough money to produce his own movies. So
That's true.
I'm not.
I mean, if George Lucas can leave the Directors Guild of America and still make movies,
Right.
you know.
I mean, here's the
Yes,
thing.
it was.
Not to. Violence is not the solution to somebody making a joke at your expense or your wife's expense. Okay.
Well,
And honestly, with the type of marriage the two of them have, there were a lot more jokes that could have been made that would have been not just funnier but more offensive, and they weren't.
Yeah.
So,
well, open marriage or not, you still don't like somebody, ranking on your wife.
Right, but I mean, dude, that's not the solution. Oh,
but at the same time,
words are not
at the same time, not the right time or place.
Right.
But in the back of my mind, I keep thinking, was it staged? I'm 99% sure it wasn't. But that little 1% in the back saying, well, the Academy got publicity out of it.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just talking homebrew here. I'm just talking convention games squeezing on.
Yeah. He's not licensed. So it would be,
I'm not in. Yeah, but I play one on TV. No.
There you go.
What's in Norman, Fugly?
Oh, I believe Fugly is going to be doing some stuff in Norman. We'll have to catch up in the chat to get to there. Hold on.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm in no hurry. I mean, he'll type it in here.
Huge Kickstarters have killed a few game companies.
Oh yeah,
and even the ones that it hasn't outright killed, it has certainly ruined the reputation of. And that's the reason why people like Gareth Skarka have to write as Michael Brophy for the Star Trek IP, because his name is toxic, right? Far West is over 10 years late.
I didn't know he was right. I didn't know he was still writing it under an alias yet.
Oh yeah, and then somebody broke that one because Michael's his middle name and Brophy is his mother's maiden name.
Well, then again, isn't Ken doing stuff under an assumed name?
Oh, Whitman.
Yeah.
Ken's been relatively quiet after he announced, I think last summer, that he was milling out pencils from his pencil dice, but not in order of when you back the Kickstarter. It was, I'm sending out the orders for people who only ordered one. So I can crunch out 12 and fulfill 12 orders. But if I have to fulfill orders that people ordered 30,
right.
So yeah,
right. Well, I'm both my game groups and other people I've talked to. I've told people about pencil dice, and unanimously I get the same reaction. That's a stupid idea. Wow. Every time. That's a stupid idea.
See, you don't know people that are incarcerated, right? Because if you're incarcerated, you can't have dice. So,
but it's all
pencils were the.
If you're all using all D6, if you're using all D6s, well, why doesn't he market it to prisons then?
I have no idea.
Because it could be a weapon. Yeah, I know.
It could be. It should be. But when it comes to Kickstarters that killed companies or killed people's Quantum RPG by what was his first name? His last name was Frost, I believe, and he was a big writer for Paizo and Pathfinder at the time. And his project is the one that got me to start doing due diligence, because it was successful. It sounded interesting. And literally like 3 or 4 months after the Quantum RPG was kickstarted, he was already kickstarting a supplement for it. And I was like, I don't even have the original. Why would I be buying a supplement for a game that I don't even own yet? And then he had it come clear later on that he was hoping that the new Kickstarter would allow him to fulfill obligations from the first Kickstarter because he used the money to open an office. Not the only one that has ever done that.
Right.
Mr. Mike Neistel, the Wandering Wizard, an occasional.
Oh boy,
Uh,
that hurt.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
listen,
I like the guy, but boy, he really kind of screwed the pooch on that.
you know, that's the whole thing with Mike Neistel, and I will give credit about Mike. He actually came on and said, "Listen." In the end, after he fucked up like 4 Kickstarters, or was it 5? I forget. But after we screwed him up, he came out and said, "Listen, I am a horrible businessman. Nobody should ever invest money in me again." You know what? That takes a bit of self-reflection to get to that point. And listen, most people who screw up don't admit that they're a screw up. Most people that screw up, they either go silent, they avoid.
Well, he manned up and did the right thing, which
Right.
I'll give him props for.
But he also ruined his reputation in the hobby. Frost, I've not seen anything come out from the guy who's behind the Quantum RPG in the 10 years since that was one of the first things I backed.
It's so funny about Neistel because he's still a hometown hero in Austin where he lives. All the Austin guys, they saw it and they gave him a pass on it pretty much. But it's one of those things where he's never going to do that again.
No.
But these guys, there's like serial offenders all the time.
Yeah.
Thoughts on being used. Oh, well, okay, squeezing on. My thoughts, I've got to admit, I backed a couple, like Frog God does it. And
right.
I think Troll Lord does it.
And Goodman Games.
And Goodman does it. I can't say I 100% approve, but then again, I did back a few. All so right. You take it with a grain of salt, take it for what it's worth.
I look at it this way, and this is as somebody who has done self-publishing as print on demand, so I don't have to worry about warehousing anything or storing anything. Mm-hmm. Taking up the my wife's yoga room to store all these books that I don't know when they're going to sell. Right? What you have to do as a game publisher, especially if you're looking to be one of the larger players in the gaming industry, that larger is Troll Lord, Frog God, Goodman Games. These are the ones if you're in the OSR. These are the names that you remember, and there's some maybe not as big, but they're still big enough. If you are going to put in an order for something, it is a science, okay? Because you have to order enough for your initial sales. If you're not doing a Kickstarter, right? You have to get the word out there, but you have to figure out where your initial sales are, where the tail is going to be, and where that sweet point is, where you order enough to lower the cost, but not so much that now you have to warehouse product for years.
And don't promise minis as a bonus.
As
a stretch goal. Don't offer me. Just don't.
That's never
unless you're doing like bones or anything. If the primary focus of the Kickstarter is minis, yeah, but other than that, don't do it. That'll mess you up every time.
By the way, it's the Medieval Fair of Norman.
Oh, Medieval Fair. Well, we will see. Norman, yes. My friends Ray and Jimbo are going. I know that. They always do the Castle in Muskogee every year, and they like to attend the Ren Fair. Maybe I can hook up with them. I don't know. They're part of Jimbo's part of my Monday group and Thursday group. So, yeah, they're a long time. Yeah, what?
No. Continue your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were done, Glenn.
I am done.
Oh, okay.
I am done.
Well, going back to the Kickstarters and it's being
yes. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Being used as a Kickstarter as a pre-order system. Kickstarter allows you to market your product, right? It is a marketing platform. It's a huge part of what it does. So you get eyes on. Okay, you
Right.
get to know exactly how many your pre-order is for. So if you if you sell 1,000 copies through your pre-order, through your Kickstarter, you have 1,000 copies sold. Then you can do
Right.
the math. What do we need to leave in stock? Do we need? I don't know the math. Maybe we need an overage of 40% or so. And then where does our sweet part come in with the publisher? Like at what point does the cost per book or per box decrease? That's part of the equation. Kickstarter allows you to do that. It is an amazing resource for that. That being said, would I ever personally use Kickstarter for any of my projects? Well, first off, nothing I do is large enough to need Kickstarter. But I don't believe that me personally, I am organized enough to be highly successful using it. With my luck, it would be so successful that I would fall underneath the weight of it. I would be one of those many failures that are out there because they fail under their own success. But I have no problem with it being used as a pre-order system, because the other option is companies putting out less product, less useful product, or getting hit with something that doesn't sell and they overorder and now they go under, right?
Well, after I said all I said, my thoughts on it is I think companies to get started should use Kickstarter. First one, maybe two products, but I would, as a company, I would not rely on Kickstarters to keep my company going with pre-orders and stuff like that. I'd like to get to the point where I can actually do my own, like advertising and, fulfilling, just release stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And listen, there's a fine balance too, right? I mean, that one of the things is like a lot of companies have learned, because now Kickstarter no longer allows you to stack and stack and stack Kickstarters that aren't fulfilled. So
well, it turns into a Ponzi scheme then.
It does, and I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've certainly seen that. What was that miniatures company? The one that licensed the swords and wizardry miniatures.
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
And I mean, that literally was a Ponzi scheme. They didn't make enough money to actually fulfill their first Kickstarter with their first Kickstarter. So the second Kickstarter was actually there to put money into the first Kickstarter, but then you needed a third Kickstarter to get the second Kickstarter out the door.
Exactly. Like I said, it's a Ponzi scheme. They wanted to do the Tome of Horrors minis. I remember that.
Yeah. I'm going to look for it right now. Frog God Miniatures Kickstarter. The name is on it.
Oh yeah, and they used to be at that North Texas every year until they got into this started, and then boom, they're gone. I've got one mini from them. They did the North Texas Minotaur mini. That's the only one I've seen from them.
My Google foo is weak, and I'm not all right. But in any case, that was again a real Ponzi scheme. You look at things that like Ken Whitman did. He was raising money for basically equipment for like these different videos he was promising to do, but really it was to support his outside of gaming business of doing videos. So he was getting the equipment paid for by Kickstarters, but then using it outside. So just many layers of my squeezing arm. Here's unless they've changed it, the Vox match in the back has got early access to the content. Amazon, they were getting free Amazon Prime for a month. That was the initial solution to it. And by the way, I love Amazon Prime. I use it. I have no qualms about it. But anybody who gives you 30 days free or a 7-day free trial of anything is working on the assumption that you're going to be 90% of people who forget to cancel. And therefore, you're going to pay for it. So Amazon will do nothing in that offer.
Josh Garlick said it was Center Stage Miniatures, and he's absolutely right.
Center Stage, there we go. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Dave, it was the first 3 episodes, not the whole series, but they never promised the expanded content anyway. Global shipping is hurting. Listen, shipping has been hurting Kickstarters since the early days. I mean, the Myth and Magic Kickstarter, that was the one for 2E reimagined, or it was actually pretty good. The content was well done, but by the time the stuff got printed, shipping rates within the U.S. had virtually doubled for this stuff, blowing away any of the money. There was nothing left. I
Blow them
believe
out of the
most of
water.
the stuff just wound up sitting in the guy's living room. I'm sure his wife loved them for it. I remember the pictures showing all these boxes stacked in the living room. You know, and here's the other thing that people forget too, especially if you're a smaller person, like you're a smaller person, smaller company. This is your first Kickstarter.
Mhm.
All right, say you only get 100 people to buy your book. Well, guess what? That's 100 books that you've got to have printed. You have to pack. You have to take to the post office. You have to label. This doesn't work on its own. I personally,
I spent a lot of my working time in warehouses, mostly doing shipping and receiving. So to me, it's like nothing. I'm reselling DVDs on eBay, and I get a sale or 2 or 3. Before even the ink dries on the computer, I'm out the door with it. So,
okay.
if you're used to that, it's no problem if you're going to do it anyway. But you gotta think about the extra effort. You run the business. You basically run the business.
Right. And for
You're
most
probably the
people,
only employee.
right. And for most people, guess what? This is the side
Mhm.
gig, right? This is not your primary employment. This is not
Yeah.
paying your bills. It's not putting the roof over your head and feeding your family and paying your car
Mhm.
insurance. This is for extra money, and it's going to get pushed to the side.
Oh yeah.
And I have a huge respect for those that can make a living out of this, or are able to balance both at the same time.
Mhm.
But that's a rare trait. You don't always see that. So when you do find it with somebody on Kickstarter or self-publishing, and they are spot on, focused, ready to rip roaring, ready to go, give them repeat business, because they're the ones you should be supporting, honestly.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, we were just talking about that, Derek.
Yep.
But they use it basically to just to get stock out the door.
Well,
And that's their publicity right there.
right.
That's their publicity budget, ad budget.
And I have a great appreciation for companies like Frog God. And listen, I've worked for Frog God. I might even have a project that's being worked on under the auspices of Frog God right now. But Frog God, Troll Lord, Goodman, generally speaking, their stuff is written. Even people like Joe Block. Okay, look at Joe Block. Joe Block, he does Kickstarter. His stuff is written. He's just looking to fund the art. And the more money he raises, the more art that he can commission for the products.
Yeah.
But it's written. It's the days of the Gareth Skarkas, where I have this great dream of a transmedia company from my far west, wuxia, science fiction, fantasy, fictional history of the United States, and you've written nothing over the course of 10 years. That's pretty much, people will call you on that shit, right? You don't get a second chance. You don't get a second chance if that's your fuck up. You'll get a second, and that includes the Memorial Tomb, right? That wasn't written when this was pitched to us, and that's really what it was, right? It was a marketing pitch. It sounded great. The names on the tin sounded good.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I think the bigger companies should probably see it. They got to get to the point where they got to stay out of Kickstarter and do it on their own. I mean, because on the other end, you have somebody like Jeff Talanian, Northwind Adventures, who puts out Kickstarters for Hyperborea and the modules or whatever he's got, but it's just him.
Right.
I can understand why he's using Kickstarter, but if you got any kind of a staff, you got to start thinking about doing your own ad budgets and things like that to get them out the door.
All right. Well, then here, let's look at it this way. A company I can talk a little bit about, say like Frog God Games. Frog God Games has, I believe, at this moment, 2 full-time employees / owners. Everybody else is either part-time or they're working on spec or they're freelancers. So there aren't too many companies. I mean, Goodman Games is, or if we go even a bit further, like Steve Jackson Games. I think Steve Jackson Games at one point had about 20 employees, including warehouse personnel. Paizo, probably including warehouse personnel. I don't know where the numbers are right now. Let's just say 50, right? But companies that we think are as big for us in the hobby, Frog God, two full-time employees. Troll Lord, I believe it's 2, maybe 3 full-time employees. There aren't too many companies that really have staff. Frog God, when a new major product has to ship, I believe it's the Bill Webb's kids and nieces and nephews. It's basically, hey, it's a pizza party weekend, and I'll pay you. Come over to the warehouse on my farm, box stuff up so I can ship it out. That's, these aren't again, but the companies of those sizes, which again, we as gamers look at them as they're big companies, but against things like Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast.
Well, it's always going to be Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, and all the other little guys.
Right. But
it's always going to be maybe Paizo's up there, maybe. I don't have a problem with somebody like Troll Lord or Frog God or Goodman writing a product, offering on Kickstarter to get the accurate numbers for their initial sales, so they don't overbuy and then get stuck with shit in the warehouse years. I see what you're saying.
That's really where it's effective. But it should be written. It shouldn't be, oh, I hope we can have this written. That's a problem, right? It should be pretty much at that size of a company.
Yeah,
you should have enough money put to the side to complete your project. Maybe not print it, but it's written, it's laid out, the artwork's going. Maybe you're doing final tweaks. Maybe there's a stretch goal I could add to it, but it should be ready.
I've done about 15, 18 Kickstarters, and I know you've done more. But I looked at my list the other day. My list the other day, and practically all of them had the project not completed, but there it is, laid out,
right,
or written. All I need, it's mainly finishing funds. All
right. So the number of projects
and
that
printing,
I have successfully backed, and that okay. And now I'm going to include the Tome of Adventure Design from Matt Finch.
Kills me. I can't do that.
So successfully backed Kickstarters. These are ones that funded. Doesn't necessarily mean that they have all fulfilled. I'd have to go back and check. I'm sure a good portion of them are a good portion. I'm sure there's probably about 2%, which 2% of 503 projects is still a lot. So,
Matt, if you're listening, I'm looking forward to get the new Tome of Adventure Design in 2023. That's when I can afford it. I looked at it and I go, oh, cool, just 2 tiers. I could do the $50 tier, but then knowing Kickstarter, they're going to come back for shipping. And it's like, I can't do it this time. I can usually do it. I just can't. See, my funds, if I want any spending money at North Texas, January to June, I got to be frugal, and that's the way it is. So I try and pick my Kickstarters carefully. But getting back to what I'm saying, it seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm real good at picking Kickstarters, or I just do it because I do it with people I know, companies I know, and who have a track record. Like for Necrotic Gnome, I haven't backed their, old school essentials, but I have backed in the past, and I know they will deliver. So I have no problem doing that if I can afford it. That's what you should look at. Look at their track record, and if it's a new guy, and if it's a really interesting thing like those map books that Tanner Yarrow did. That was his first one. I backed it because it just looked interesting. And I know I took a chance. I knew I was taking a chance, but he delivered. He delivered in spades. I got my 2 copies. They're beautiful. Okay. And I wouldn't mind doing another, backing another Kickstarter from him. But usually, the guys who were just starting out, I usually pass on like the first 1 or 2 to see how they're going to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to take a wait and see attitude as far as Kickstarter goes for new people, anyway. As far as I'm concerned.
And listen, you got to do your due diligence. You got to know.
Yeah.
Look how many other projects this company has put out. Is it their first? To me, a first is usually a warning sign that I got to do a lot of research, especially if it's a significant price that they're looking to get out of me. No mention of Kobold Press. I don't really buy much from Kobold Press, so it didn't really sink into me. But I think Kobold is pretty much a 1 or 2 person company at this point.
But I got to tell you, Kickstarter is a great place for comedy. If you've read any of these proposals.
Oh, some of them.
Oh, they're priceless. They're priceless. Who was that guy recently, like in the last 6 months, where you read his proposal and is going like, he's like up here in the clouds. I'm going to use this to maybe, this is what I want to do. And yeah, pretty much, And I've been watching YouTube videos. I think video game players have it worse than us as far as Kickstarters go.
Yeah.
It's worse. Oh my God.
It gets scary what they're trying to. You look at it, you go, okay, this person has a dream.
Yeah.
They want me to pay for it. No, it's not really how it
works. I need you to pay for the programmers to bring my idea to life. Well, go get them. I'm not funding it.
My squeezing on. Any favorite Hex Crawl material, any OSR one-shots, adventures to populate a Hex Crawl? I'm going to say, from my perspective, best bang for the buck, and it's not a Kickstarter. It's actually a Patreon. Tim Shorts / Gothridge Manor. He does a Patreon. It's hexes. It's short adventures. It's made to drop into your own campaign. Tim does some amazing work. I can't recommend him enough. So
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he puts out these black and white books that are all about hex crawls. He sent me one called Filling in the Blanks.
Oh,
a guide for making hex crawls, and it's wonderful.
Dave, that's it. Don't ask authors to sign your PDF copy of their games. I can't see my Kindle screen for bloody autographs. There you go. And if you like that, eat the cod. It's great.
Yeah, I was watching this one series of YouTube videos about this one game, Kingdoms of Karan or whatever, this MMO type fantasy game that it's going on, I think, 5 years, and they showed just like very little of it. They just show you a demo and that's it. And it's terrible. Thank you, David Betstack. Todd LeBack. Todd LeBack's stuff is great.
There you go.
He really gets down and dirty with it. And the charts, the tables are wonderful for making a hex crawl.
All right, before we delve into the next topic, which actually may be PDFs and printed versions of the game, I got different thoughts on that. Glenn and I probably disagree, but not to the extent that you think of it. Like I said, when we near the top of the hour, we're going to use the giveaway tool, and 8:50.
We're near the top of the hour.
We're near the top of the hour. So here I'm going to just say, listen, folks, if you're listening to this right now and you haven't thrown some chat in yet, and no, Billy, we're not going to be running a game tonight. But if you haven't thrown a comment into the chat, I'm going to give you another about 30 seconds to get a comment up into the chat. And then I am going to run the giveaway tool. And the giveaway tool will allow me to roll two people. I feel like I'm like rolling drunks. Allow me to pick two people. And the two names that come up will need to email me at tencars.tavern@gmail.com. I'll put it up in the chat. And you'll have to email me, and I will get you your drive-through RPG credit, because we're hitting the subscriber number, right? We surpassed 1250. I think we're at 1261. So, and
no blowjobs are accepted.
Oh God, no, especially from you, miscreant. We don't want that fucking shit. Okay, all right, good.
I said I wouldn't cuss. I never said I wouldn't be kind of randy.
All right.
Randy, go for it.
Okay, we're gonna draw.
Oh, Pat Sajak says Calvinoni.
All right.
Well, folks, we're going to be going at least another hour, so maybe the next hour we can, or can we do that?
How about we'll save it for half past the hour. So we'll bring up the next one at half past the hour.
Okay, Calvinoni, go ahead and send your info into Eric, rather. Derek, that's my stepson. What was give the email address again?
I'm going to put it out right now.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, hit the like button, folks. There you go.
There you go. Cal, email me at tencars.tavern@gmail.com. Throw in, I don't know, whatever you want to throw in, Triple D, throw in, I won, whatever. Just so it just shows up in my subject, I can pull it out. Folks, somebody was talking about, or before we did our drawing, we were talking, or you guys were in a chat talking about PDFs and physical books. And
right.
My favorite is when I can get a physical book and get the PDF for free, especially for
I require
it for a game where I am going to be either a player or an adventure if I am going to be running it. And the reason being, for the adventures, I like to print out. If it's a small adventure, I'll print it all out. But if it's a long adventure, I'll print out what I think my party is going to be looking at. I don't need a full book at my table, and I can make hand notes. I can write in it, and guess what? Doesn't affect the original. As for a player, I like the PDF because you know what? If I am running a character class, I'll print out the character class. Maybe I'll print out the equipment section, and if I'm using a spellcaster, I'll print out my spells. I don't need everything at the table. It's a lot easier, especially since I do most of my gaming on Roll20, and I have limited desk space to work from. I don't have the ability generally to have multiple books set up and ready to go. So when I can cut down on books, I like to. So
yeah, I have on my hard drive, my backup hard drive, I got practically everything that I normally game with on there, just because the reasons you said about being able to print out parts of a rule book or a class or whatever, and especially character sheets. It just comes in handy like you wouldn't believe. Plus, if I'm strapped for books and stuff, I've got a lot of them on my tablet.
Well, there you go.
My laptops. So, hey, redundancy is a good thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm going to a convention and I plan on playing different games, I like to go with the everything on my tablet because honestly, when I go to a convention, I tend to come back with more than I left with. So leaving stuff behind is useful when you're going. It just makes things a hell of a lot saner. And
I mean, I'm already using
yeah.
a tablet. I'm already using a tablet at the table for stuff like sound effects and music. So might as well have the books on there too.
Right. Now, somebody was talking about Rob Conley's Black Marsh. Black Marsh, just if you go to Drive Through RPG, it is, I believe, pay what you want or free, one or the other. It is in PDF. Grab it. Now, if you like it and you want it in print later, I own a print copy. You can always grab the print copy later, but grab it. I have run Black Marsh. It is a
It's good.
wonderful
I have
resource.
a copy too. I've got a physical copy too. He sent it to me with his regular book. His RPG.
Oh, his Majestic, was it Majestic Wilderness?
Majestic Boulderland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Majestic Basic or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's a nice rule set.
We play tested one of the adventures for that one.
To me, it just seems like white box tweaked to his world.
Right. It's these classes are a bit more world specific. They aren't generic fighter, generic cleric, generic.
Like clerics are clerics of one of his gods in his world or something like that.
And they have special abilities and they're related to such. So I had fun. I consider myself very blessed that my Monday night group, which it's Roll20 and Discord for our voice, because it's a very varied group from throughout the country, but they are all people that keep you on your toes because they're all creatives. It's Tim Shorts, it's Rob Conley, it's Greg Christopher, it's Matt Jackson, it's Joe the Lawyer, it's V Zawicki. But these are all people that really get you to push yourself because you're playing with people that are game designers or adventure writers or mappers. They're all creatives, and it makes you not be lazy.
And I know I'm not in that Monday group because I got my own Monday group I have to do, which is filled with more creatives.
Yeah,
I mean, Gage and I are the only two people at the table who don't do like SCA, Castle and Muskogee stuff. So they're already creative and outgoing.
Right.
And
that brings out the best of you as a player and as a DM.
It does.
It makes you always say, all right, well, I know what I'm up against, and I know these players are going to, basically bash the shit out of anything that I fuck up with. But
I role play a lot behind the screen because I like to. I can do characters. I'm not, I'm not embarrassed to say that I do really good characters. But the point is, and one of my primary jobs as a game master is to uplift everyone else. What I'm saying is, I'm doing this. Can you do that too? I know you can. I'm not saying you have to be a great actor or anything like that. I'm just saying, let's engage. Let's do some interaction. With people, I can really, it's fun to see me playing an NPC, having to back and forth between one or two characters. And I'm just, like I've said it before, it's a tennis match. I'm tossing it out to them. They're tossing it back to me. I'm tossing it out to them. It's the same thing. And it just raises the quality of the game, the fun of the game. I always, when I do stage acting, I always say, I got this part and I'm doing it, but I want to see everybody else up there too. I want to see everybody at the top of their game. And that includes role playing. I like to see all the players at the top of their game because that's how you squeeze the most fun out of it. Whether you like to do tactical, whether you like to do role playing, it doesn't matter. You're having fun.
Right.
And you're having fun at this level, not down here.
And that's it too. Like I guess when I game, when I play as a player, and I'm usually the game master or the GM, part of it's because I I know where I am at the focus, and I'm allowed to be the focus. When I'm a player, especially a convention play, let's start with my regular group because it's all
Mhm.
strong personalities. So I know maybe I'll steal a scene, but I'm not going to steal the show. That's fine.
Right.
But a convention play, um, it becomes a bit more of I'm getting into my character, I'm having fun
Mhm.
playing it. However, am I now quieting up other players because I'm going to be that asshole in their mind? Oh, this guy's
Yeah.
just part of the game. Look at him. He's just being a role playing asshole. And maybe you are, right? So you have to be a bit more
Right.
cognizant when you're playing at
Yeah.
the convention with people that you don't know, because part of that convention play is getting to learn the other players in those first 10 minutes, right? So you can kind of figure out,
I've had I've had games where the players forget they have a phone, which is good.
yes.
Um, so that's a good thing. The example I love to use this example, is I was play testing a Gangbusters game for North Texas, and they had just had a big old car chase, which resulted in a crash, and they caught like the brother of the big mafia don, and he was in an interrogation room, and I started playing him. It's like, you're not going to get me to talk. No, 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 no. You got to get me to talk. One of my players, Mike, God bless him, rest in peace. Now, I have one big rule: is don't look behind my screen.
Uh-oh.
Don't look behind my screen. I let him behind my screen because he came right up and sat his butt on the desk and did one of these. And he was totally into it. He was totally into interrogating this guy and intimidating him. And it's like, yes, that's where I want you guys to be.
Right.
Oh, it was great. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Well, hey, Bill Griggs has a question, and it's a good question.
Yes.
How do you prepare to run a published adventure?
Pray the night before. Well, here's how I do it. Here's how you should do it. This is the advice I give. I think I follow it. Read it back to front, front to back. Read it once, then read it again, and start taking notes on what happens and how the adventure flows. Now, I say read it back, all the way through. You really should once, but you can break it down then. You can break it down to like, okay, I think I'm going to have I've got like a 4-hour block to play. They're probably going to get through this much now, and prep for that much. But I like to print for like, say, 10% more, because you
Right.
never know, it might go short. If it's a little long, you can always stop it, where you were going to stop it. But always prepare like maybe a half hour to an hour more than you think you're going to play. It's always good to have too much. And that's how I would do it. Break it down into sessions. Your turn.
Well, when it comes to a published adventure, now are we talking an adventure, or are we talking like Barrel Maze? I mean, there's um, if it's an adventure that's expected to be played out from, like, I don't know, Dungeon Magazine or Zine, or it's a 16 or 20-page adventure, read the whole thing front to back. You're probably going to finish it in a session or two. You need to know it. If it's something much larger, there's usually a very good synopsis of what the storyline is going to be and where it's going to go.
Yes, right at the front.
You read that twice, maybe 3 times, because what you're looking for with that, especially if you're running with your regular group, is there anything here that I can see my group latching onto? You learn what your party, they have certain things that they kind of like can't help themselves. I look for that, because those are things that I need to think about when I'm reading the adventure. Now, if it's something, again, Barrel Maze, I will prepare what I think I will need for my first 2 to 3 sessions. I'll read that ahead of time, and then as I know where the players are going, I'll expand my reading. I don't want to overwhelm myself because if I read the whole thing at once, I'm probably going to forget the vast majority. I want to know where my
Well,
players are going to
yeah,
be.
I think Mega Dungeons are an exception there.
Yeah, but for smaller stuff, I like to read it straight through. But I will. This is the reason why I like to have printed copies, not print copies, printed copies, because I like to read through the stuff and go, oh, all right, I need to make a note over here. And I'll take short stuff. Where do I think I need to add? Maybe I need to add a little of my own campaign flavor to the adventure. So I maybe some ongoing larger event. I'm going to throw a little scroll here that may lead the party to another adventure later. It makes it seem more campaign specific when you can
Right.
add in the little pieces. I never did that back in the day. I just pulled
Mhm.
an adventure out of Dungeon Magazine and said, "All right, we got the adventure, let's go." But
Well, yeah, I'm talking about like the 36-page adventures type
yeah,
thing, 24 to
I,
36-page adventure.
I like.
Because I've seen so many new GMs, my grandson included.
Mhm.
They take the module, they got to read through it, they got to prep everything. Everything. No, you
No.
don't. You prep what you're going to use and maybe a little more. That's it. You got to be able to know when to stop.
Right, you gotta be able
That
to
was my
improvise.
problem for a long
Yeah.
time because you
You'll-
don't know when to, it's like, here's how I prep. I prep. And about a day before the game, I say, okay, that's enough prep. I'm going to go with what I got. And
Yeah.
usually that's enough.
If
And
you
I can
if you
improv the
over
rest.
prep, you risk burning yourself out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and people forget that because DM burnout's a real thing. If you've been a
Yes, it is.
DM, you've
Yes, it
probably
is.
reached that point where the group comes over to whoever's house you're playing at, and they all gather to play, and the DM goes, "Yeah, listen, I'm really not feeling it tonight." You're like, "What?" Yeah, yeah. Anybody else want to take the reins? Now, taking the reins means start up a new campaign, pull out a new game, pull out Risk,
Do a one shot.
Chaos Marauders, or what. Um, and sometimes taking a break from it is good. Again, with our Monday night group, we seem to run like arcs, maybe 3 to 5 sessions, and then somebody else change the game system, change the campaign, change the the feel.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is important to keeping things fresh and to keeping a DM from getting into a rut. And we don't like to admit that as DMs, as GMs, that we can get into a rut. But you can get into a rut when you start dreading the game session. And I
I've been,
out there at one
yeah,
point in my
you're
college
right.
career. You would dread it.
You're right.
Never
You're
good.
right. I've been in situations where I thought I bit off more than I can chew. That's where improv comes in. But you know what? We can get away with less prep. You know why? Because Cal just brought up a good point. Players will overthink something.
Yes.
And that means less work for you. Sometimes a duck is just a duck, but they're going to come up with even 3 or 4 ideas that you never thought of. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Maybe that's true. That's what I'm saying. They will give you stuff. So don't prep as much as you think you need to prep.
Right. No, I mean,
Yeah.
and
They
if you're
will overthink it.
and honestly, if your players think something up that is
Mhm.
so awesome that you go, wow, I wish I thought of that. Guess what? You just thought of it.
It's in the game.
Improvise
It's
it,
in the
change
game.
it.
Yeah.
They'll be thrilled that they figured out something, and you'll have the knowledge that what all right. So I changed the adventure midstream, but it made it better for everybody. Until an event happens, it hasn't happened, right? I mean,
One thing I regret not. I did a Hyperborea campaign. They never really did figure out what those clerics were doing with those bottles of urine. They were putting them on shelves in this woman's room who was recovering from something, and they spent a good 2 hours trying to figure out what's up with the bottles of urine. I just did as an example as the clerics are starting to go crazy, and I just did that, and it's like, oh wow, I got like 3 or 4 ideas I'm going to use for another game.
It's just never let an opportunity just pass you by because it wasn't written into the adventure. Sometimes
Yeah,
the things that you improvise, and
you
listen, a lot of
got
times
to
it's,
keep your you
yeah,
got to keep your brain going during the game.
and a lot of times, like I did this during convention play when I was running Mouth of Doom from Rappahannock with a 3D terrain.
Hmm.
There were encounters that you could tell your players are willing to role play. All right, so
Hmm.
now the ogre is willing to have a conversation. Maybe they can parlay. Maybe and that could be just as memorable, if not more memorable, than rolling dice. There's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't written in that the ogre's just supposed to get killed. No, play it. If you players want to play it out. Play it out.
Yeah,
But it's not a storytelling game, but there will be stories to be told about it afterwards, and the stories that your players want to talk about are the stories where they feel that they were actually involved in. They weren't just moving through. They well, holy, that ogre could have killed us, but John's character convinced him to take some beef jerky, and actually he guarded our back and fought off scared off a few goblins. That would have been a problem. They'll talk about that as opposed to, oh yeah, we killed an ogre. Right? Everybody kills an ogre in the game, right? You're murder hobos. When things take it a little bit different direction, that's when people remember it for later.
last night was one of the few times I ever saw Matt in one of his games had goblins fail their morale roll and beg for mercy.
Oh, nice.
I very rarely see that. I mean, there are times when monsters just got to, cut bait and run.
Right.
But I see that very rarely in games. It's like they all fight to the last man. And, there are reasons for morale checks. I mean, if your game doesn't have it, but, use your common sense, as a GM,
Yeah.
anyway.
By the way, Bad Mike is in the chat. He wants to
Yeah.
know
Well, who let the door open?
oh, let the dogs out. So
Whoa,
actually, we do
whoa,
have one
whoa,
more prize
whoa.
to give away, Mike. And if you do come up because you're not a host tonight, it's totally random, and you were the first random non-winner on Wednesday because your name came up. And it's like you're a co-host. You cannot win as a co-host. But yes, you can. But I still remember when I was again using morale. My my players, some of the players I was playing with back then were in my group, and I still remember they went through a bunch of goblins, big huge fight, and there was one goblin that it was in the adventure too. There's one goblin. It's the runt to the litter. So I made the runt to the
Mhm.
litter. He's the guy that always got abused, right? So he's not going to fight. He's going to cower in the back because So you killed all his tribe mates, but he didn't like them anyway. And figure, all right, he's a runt, so maybe he's a bit smarter than the average goblin. Has a smattering of common. My players didn't kill him outright. I was surprised. They actually talked to him, and he explained that he was basically the abused and picked on and bullied, and then he became like the
Mhm.
party Nodwick, the pack bearer and all that stuff. I didn't
I've
plan
seen
that.
that happen before.
Yeah, that wasn't part of the plan, but it worked out well.
Yep.
Loaded gun next to the DM ensures much happiness. Depends on who's carrying a loaded gun.
I used to have when I was running 50 Fathoms, my friend Jimbo had a replica flintlock pistol that I would use back there because it fit for pirates. Now, it didn't fire or anything, but the other end was weighted. So it's like if I had to bop anybody on the head, that's a real good weapon.
That's again, it's those things that it's the out of the box, improbable that your party will remember because
Mhm.
listen, as a teen in my 20s, Yes, the fun was killing shit and taking their stuff, and then that morphed into what EverQuest and WoW, which was all about killing shit and taking their stuff. I think that I play different. I know I play differently now as a 54-year-old adult using the
Mhm.
old school rule sets than I did when I was playing the original old school rule sets. I'm a different person. You know,
That's right.
I've grown. I'll dare I say I matured. Although some people disagree with that assessment, but you
Mm.
know, I think that this is just a way to we play the rule sets that we like because they are
That's
comfortable.
right. That's
All right.
right.
And the more comfortable they are, the less you have to refer to them, the quicker the game
Well,
moves.
I think of like older editions of like D&D and stuff as comfort food
Yeah.
because you know it. You know if you've been around this game any kind of decades, you have one system you could run in your sleep. You know it so well. That's comfort food.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Oh,
if you can get other players to enjoy it, even better.
I remember playing the 2E trivia game, right? Where you could put
Oh, I still got that. I still got a cut.
oh,
We do that on Thaco's Hammer every once episode. We always pick an episode where we play it. That's all we do in the episodes. We play that 2E game.
I used to be pretty good at that. But I think my 2E knowledge is less specifically 2E knowledge now. Yeah, now it's more
Well,
general lore.
I'm always the host because I got the worst. I don't know any. I couldn't spout rules from 2E.
Oh,
I mean, I've ran it, but I couldn't do it. That's why I'm always the host. And we did our own, point value. You got to get like to 10 points and you can go negative in case. But yeah, we have a whole lot of fun with that one. And I've yet to run out of questions. Thank you, Trivial Pursuit.
oh God. Don't even remind me when Trivial Pursuit was new and big. It's like, oh God, the parents want to play Trivial Pursuit again. I really don't want to play this game. And now I'm sure if we pull out the original Trivial Pursuit, I'm sure most of those questions are very dated.
Possibly. Some things don't. Depends on what you're playing. Depends on what category, what genre you're playing.
Right. I guess if you had one of the specials like, oh, Star Trek Trivial Pursuit, based upon the original series or whatever, then that becomes different.
That's challenging.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here. Grognard's don't. It's true though. We don't play old school the way we played it
No.
back at the time.
Yeah. And to us, that is old school.
Right. I mean, I still remember running a campaign where my players were taking over the wild coast, and I thought you could use grease pens and then wipe the grease pen off the map of the original. It doesn't. It pulls the ink off when you pull the grease pen off.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah,
Live and learn.
But we didn't do hex crawls so much back then. I didn't own any Judges Guild stuff, but I've run hex crawls now, or sandboxes. I mean, it was different. When we played my groups back in the day, it was all about the module, the adventure. It was less about the travel. The one time I actually tried to use travel, and I used the weather tables from I think issue 68 or 69 of Dragon magazine. My players are going to the village of Hamlet from like Verberbunk, and they got caught in a blizzard and died. And then I said, all right, travel fucking sucks. And I killed the starting party because a random blizzard in the winter got rolled and dropped like 3 feet of snow, and my players died of like hypothermia. So yeah, it seems like that. Like now, I obviously run it differently because we know we've got 30 years on us from when we were first gaming. It's a different experience.
See what happens? Somebody asks us a question, we do like 45 minutes on it.
Yeah. Well,
Hi, Tammy.
It's the only way to be.
Yeah,
all right.
trivial.
We've almost caught up on the chat here, and then I think it's going to be time for us to do another random draw. So, folks, we're giving away one more $25
Yeah.
drive-through
Close enough.
RPG. Yeah, one more gift certificate from drive-through because we hit
Mhm.
and surpassed our 1,250 subscribers. I think we're 1,262 right now.
Wow.
So all you got to do is comment. So if you haven't commented in the last couple of minutes, just throw a comment in there. I'm not searching. I could have it search for what do you call it? What do you call it? You can have it search for I don't know, keywords. I'm not worried about keywords.
Yeah.
Of course, son of a it just fell off my other screen. Glenn, you're in charge for a moment. I gotta pull the StreamYard thing up again on the side.
I hear that chili peppers burn your gut. Is that true?
Oh Jesus. I guess it depends on the
People
chili
who knows they will know where that came from.
pepper. I don't know, man. I now I feel bad that I don't know.
It's all right.
All right.
It's
I got it up now. Who ya?
okay, good. Okay.
All right.
Push the button, Frank. Push the button, Frank.
All right. So now we're
Here
going
we
to
go.
start collecting comments. We're gonna. All right. We're gonna draw.
All right.
And if I come up, obviously I can't win. So, oh, David Betzak.
Betzak.
David.
We almost got bad, Mike.
Well, you almost got me. I'd be like, oh, I get a prize. You get a prize. It's like being Oprah, right?
Yeah.
Everybody gets a. Well, you can't get a car. No.
Dave says
we
thank
old
you.
school back in the day. You're right. You're right, Zach. We did. You know, it is.
Mike, don't be a sore loser.
I almost broke the giveaway. I almost did. David, email me at 10cars.tavern@gmail.com. I think you might know the email. So just give me an email. I'll try to get some of the stuff
Spend
out.
it wisely and not all in one place. Why not? Spend it wisely.
All right. Now, as an aside, I almost forgot about this. Frog God is doing a monthly sale for April. It's not an April Fool's joke, but I think all but one product is on sale at their actual store, not the drive-through store. Everything, but I think the last release is 40% off with a coupon code. So
this is drive-through?
No, this is the Frog God game. So Frog God Games website.
That's right.
So
okay.
Later on tonight, I'll be putting up a post about it, and if there's a code. I'm not sure if the code's on the website, which would be
fantastic.
Nice. Yes, Mike, you almost won, and we love you too. So
yeah, boy, do we love you. We love you a lot.
So listen, if you want the Swords and Wizardry box set, they still have some in stock. Those are 40% off in print.
Wow.
So
I might get those. I wasn't going to get one, but I'm tempted.
40% off. You could
but
get
I'm
one.
going to be. I don't. Yeah, but I'm going to be spending North Texas money. I don't want to do that.
Wild Die, another better odds tomorrow night because we usually cap out around 8 to 9 live viewers. Tomorrow night,
yeah, something like that.
We'll be giving away two $25 gift certificates. And then next Friday, the last chance at the random generator party, another $225. So all together, we're giving away, we'll have given away $250 worth of drive-through gift certificates. Again, that's your money if you use the affiliate links at drive-through for the tavern. This is how I put it back into your hands. So
hey, when I do this, do you like pixelate it out?
No.
Damn.
Glenn, I love you.
I don't want to see Oprah running an RPG either.
No. I'm surprised there isn't an Oprah RPG. I'm sure there could be.
Oh, I've got thoughts about her. Anyway,
Listen, it's a family show. Well, not really, but we don't want to delve into that.
You're the one that cusses.
Yeah.
I mean, the family show. I mentioned blowjobs earlier, and it's a family show.
Well, all right. So not necessarily family, but I got you. Yes, Daryl
Yeah.
Deep is
Yeah.
Craig Gillespie's upcoming project.
Yeah, the blight. No.
Oh, I don't know if there's any blights left. I mean, holy crap!
Probably not. But I do recommend Baldur's. I want to say Baldur's Gate, Bard's Gate. Bard's Gate. An older one also is the Black Monastery.
Actually, no, I don't like the Black Monastery.
I like it. It's pretty interesting.
Lost City of Caracas, I like that. But
also, if you can find them, I think they're out of print now. You might find them in PDF, maybe through Bad Mike, maybe through Frog God. But they were talking about Hex Crawls, the Hex Crawl Chronicles.
Oh yeah,
those are really good for Hex Crawls.
They're probably still in PDF. I'm not sure if they are still in print because I think we sold them off a couple of years ago.
I've got a set of the Swords and Wizardry ones.
Yeah, they're very good. They're by John Slater did those.
Yes. Also, I also want to work on getting the Saturday night fights?
Saturday night specials. Yes.
Saturday night specials. Those are pretty good too. Those are older ones.
Mike does have some of the
Hex Crawl Chronicles.
Chronicles.
They come in Swords of Wizardry and Pathfinder.
All right. So if you want hard copies, reach out to Bad Mike, Michael Battalato on Facebook, or the Bad Mike 3 at AOL.com. I remember Mike, right?
He's still on AOL? People are still on AOL?
People are still on AOL.
Holy moly. I haven't touched AOL in like 15 years when they used to have Messenger on the internet. You can get it for free.
When I started dating, the first thing I did is get her off of AOL and give her a Google email. Like, you get away from AOL. So
look what happened to Google Hangouts now. Anyway,
I know
that's a whole other story.
City of Brass does look awesome. The artwork is amazing in that. The full color plates are things that you'd want to cut out with a razor.
Sword of Air is pretty good too.
Sword of Air is a very good. Also, oh God, what's the other one? It's just three adventures in one. Listen, there's a lot of good stuff. This is like a clearance sale, man. It's a great time. 12th anniversary, 40% off.
Can I pimp another company?
Of course.
Chris Gonnerman stuff. Basic Fantasy. God. All his stuff is cheap and it's good.
Yes.
And he's done like original stuff plus stuff like he did a module that's sort of a tribute to the Giant series, one that's a tribute to Isle of Dread, and a lot of this anthology stuff where he's got a whole bunch of and they're dirt cheap. I bought the entire set, including the rule book, for $35.
So
total.
Basic Fantasy.
That's RPG, print, and that's print.
On
PDFs
Amazon.
are free.
Yeah, he basically gives the print out at cost. All right, so you can't do better than that. It is some great material, and even if you're not going to play Basic Fantasy RPG, if you want some great material, now all the PDFs are all free.
Yeah, they're all free. Just go get them.
If you want some great material that will fit into any OSR game, whether it's setting or otherwise, you can't go wrong. So Gonnerman stuff is awesome,
and it works. And it works great with Swords and Wizardry.
It does. Certainly
and I probably should have. Probably should have pimped Glen Seal's Midderlands, but I'll get that out in another show.
Well, I believe that the Midderlands 5e is available through Frog God.
Yes, it is.
And it might be 40% off.
Yeah.
So
speaking of which, we need him on this show. for at least one episode.
Okay.
We got to work on the time. We got to work. We got to work on the timing, because
Right.
he's over in Great Britain, and
Well, here's the thing. I mean, in theory, we could record it, release it as a premiere, which means we release it at 8:00, and then the two of us just haunt the chat and chat with people. But we wouldn't be able to audibly talk.
Yeah, but he's such a great guy. He did my show. He did Radio Grognard, and he was like, "What time is it there?" Oh, 2:30 a.m. He didn't mind. He's just such a sweet guy. I just love him to death. But yeah, if we want to make it a little easier for him, we can probably schedule something.
Easy schmeezy.
Easy.
Come on.
If we want, we're on what at 8:00 on your time?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is over there. He's probably like mid-afternoon or something, or late afternoon.
What? No, in the UK? No. Yeah. It's later. So it's probably
like 10 o'clock or.
Yeah, no, he's about 5 hours. So it's probably about 1 a.m. when we go live.
That's not bad, but still, I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
See what he said.
Make it so.
I love him. I love having him on. He's great. He's a great guy. He does great stuff. Midderlands are great.
Glenn, where's your show? Your show was on YouTube, correct?
It's on Anchor.
Oh.
And I've got stuff on here on too. I got Old Man Grognard and stuff, but Radio Grognard is daily on Anchor and other podcatchers like, I know I'm on iTunes, Spotify. I'm on like 10 of them.
All right. So right now, according to David,
if you go to Anchor and look, and if you go to, type in Radio Grognard on Google and go to Anchor, it'll show you all the podcast platforms I'm on. Anyway,
listen, since David can join us, and it's 2:40 right now in the UK, Glenn can join us, and they can share it, the miserableness together.
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, someday I'm going to have to return the favor on him.
He can make you wake up early one morning, maybe. How about that?
How about that? Anyway.
Wow. All right. So we gave away all
our
goodies. We got goodies.
That's right.
Now, actually, somebody we might need to get on to the show one day would be some of the guys from the old new TSR, the guys that did Top Secret New World Order. Because I have an extra box.
We could probably get. You mean what's the guy who created it?
Merle.
We get Merle on here.
Well, not to announce anything too loudly, but Merle's been working on a project with something having to do with the tavern, and we shall see how that goes. So actually, that might actually be something that we could do. And I could give away a box set, so we got to make
that. Since I'm a little close to the Austin guys, probably Dr. DeSister could probably come on too.
Oh, Dennis, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Dennis. I love his handle, Bunny Burrows, on Facebook.
Yeah, all right, and yes, and Jason Elliott. Well, Jason's the one that sent me the box set.
We've had him on before.
Yeah. So, no, this would be fun.
Yeah, I think we just got to start thinking special guests. So,
well, I can't always be the special one. You're right. We need some other special guests.
Well, I thought I was a special one.
Oh, you can't always be special. Once in a while, I got to be special.
Okay.
All right. Education is everything. But
okay. But yeah, well, I think the last show I guested on was Biggest Geekus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
Guys, if you're listening, Randy, Joe, want me on again? I'll be there.
Just so you know, by the way, Mike's like special guest of the Wednesday
night
forte.
No, they're not. You just steal the ones.
That's okay, Mike. I think we'll have a Wednesday special guest that will be.
Look, I've seen special guests on there.
We don't know when, but we got
you put somebody on there, and then Friday I come over to Eric, and say, "Hey, we were supposed to have that one. Why is he talking to Jeff Talanian? You know, that kind of thing."
We can always have Jeff on here.
I know, but we're stealing from him.
I never steal from Mike. He gets very possessive.
True. Anyway, I think we're about wrapped up here, aren't we?
Wednesday we'll always have the whiskey. Okay. Oh, today I had my my Blue Moon Light Sky, and it was
wahoo,
spot on. So Glenn is Old Man Grognard,
Radio Grognard, and Thaco's Hammer.
So look, I just have this channel, but we do multiple live streams. So tomorrow, live stream 8 p.m. Rach and myself, we will give a bit of an update on my health over the last week after the angiogram, the stent that had to get cleared, and the new stent that I have. I've now got 5. That's a nice round number. I think I'd like to not have to go much beyond that. But,
everybody gets a role playing trophy.
Oh, yes.
Everyone a Maserati.
Everyone gets a Marvel No Prize. Remember those?
There we go.
My letter got printed. I get a Marvel No Prize. What does that mean? You get no prize.
Actually, the prize is it being printed and you hang on to it and say, "Hey, look.
I'm surprised." That's your prize.
There we go.
Folks, listen. I always bring this up. We're in the midst of the world of COVID, right? Well, it's still out there. It's less than it was. It's still having an effect on people. You know your situation better than anybody else. Okay, COVID. You know your risk factors better than anybody else. And in theory, and judging from the stats here, I'm 99.9% sure that you are likely an adult. Use your common sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Other than that, be safe, be well.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Anyway, yes.
Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. And God willing, I'll be back again tomorrow. Again, catch Glenn on Anchor. Catch Glenn on YouTube's.
Thaco's Hammer. Look for the website. Good night, folks.
Later.